at National Action Network. Our president and founder here at National Action Network is the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. The chairman of our board is the Reverend Dr. W. Franklin Richardson, and I'm Michael Hardy. I will be guiding us through the evening with our great panel of attorneys. For those of you who may be visiting us for the first time, we are here in the House of Justice, National Action Network's national headquarters, 106 West 145th Street in the great village of Harlem. And of course, we do our Saturday Action rallies every Saturday right here from the House of Justice. So again, if you're ever in New York on a Saturday, you should come on by to the House of Justice, because we are here every Saturday for our Saturday Action Rally, which is led by Reverend Sharpton, who's also here every Saturday. There are a few Saturdays throughout a calendar where he may not be here because of crushing issues that might be happening other places, but even for Reverend Sharpton, this is his primary destination and a must destination for him every Saturday morning right here where we do our Saturday Action Rally, National Action Network. We are so pleased to have all of you here. And of course, this program is for those of you all out there that may have issues. And we come every month to try to facilitate a discussion, try to have some questions and answers, and hopefully get you some help and direction on issues that are confronting you. Before we continue to jump in, want to first invite everyone, remind those of you who may already know that coming up, we're just a little bit more than a month away now. But coming up in April 12th through the 15th is our National Action Network National Convention. Our convention is free. It is free and open to the public, but we ask that you register. And the reason why you have to register, because we've got to know what we have to be prepared for during the convention. The convention is held at the Sheraton Times Square Hotel. That's down on 7th Avenue, 811 7th Avenue, between 52nd and 53rd, right here in the great city of New York. So we want to make sure that all of you are signing up. It's really important to register for the convention. We always have great conventions. We have great substance in our convention. And we have top-notch individuals that are here, again, really for you, everyone, sometimes from the President of the United States all the way down to someone that may live right next door to you that is doing something special that he is presenting or she is presenting or they are presenting, always, at the convention. So again, as always with National Action Network, you just never know who's going to be coming through the doors, whether it's for our Saturday Action Rally or our national convention. But we want you to register. It is going to be a truly, truly great convention this year. And, one thing that we always do is people, have gotten to know not only the work that we do, but the importance of particular aspects of the work that we do. And one of them is our national convention. And I emphasize, we do our national convention and make the investment so that the convention is free. Many conventions you have to go to and you have to spend a lot of money to register and this, that, and the other. And if you're coming from a distance, you may have to spend some money in order to get here, but you won't have to spend money to register for the convention, because our conventions are free and open to the public. And again, you can go online at nationalactionnetwork.net and register for our 2023 National Convention at the Sheraton Times Square Hotel. You can also call 877-626-4651 to get any information that you need with regard to the convention, or you can go online at nationalactionnetwork.net. But tonight, we are here for a legal night, and we are
Hello?
You're back in.
that hit the world and certainly had an impact all over the world and basically shut down everything for a good 2 years. But out of that, there are always little things that happen that become gems that continue on because there are always great stories. And having Zoom is one of the great stories that came out of the pandemic because of the way that people that couldn't be in the same room or in the same place or travel or all of these things could gather and be together and have a real experience. And so during the pandemic, we did our conventions, we did our legal night and our conventions, but we did our legal night by Zoom. And one of the things that we didn't want to do, because we were getting a lot of questions from many that are here in the city, when are we going to come back live? And you know, we obviously couldn't come back until after the pandemic had passed. And then once the pandemic passed, we took a few extra months because what we didn't want to lose was the benefit of having all of the people that could join us from all over the country to be a part of the legal night experience and be able to have access to all of our friends and colleagues that are here to be of great help. So first, we always want to start by telling you, give yourselves a big hand for being with us tonight. We so appreciate you because frankly, and candidly, you know, looking out and seeing you being here and knowing that you are here because either you have questions that you want to try to get some assistance with, or someone that you care deeply about needs help, and that's why you're here. And to see all of the people, it's very touching, and it's touching to us, which is why we make the effort to be here with you on these Thursdays. So again, we thank you, and we fully appreciate the effort and the time that you take to be with us for a legal night. And again, if this is the last Thursday of the month, it's legal night at National Action Network. Now, we do our legal night program in 3 parts. First part is we have a special presentation, and we'll tell you about that shortly because we will have a presentation tonight. The second part of the program is your opportunity to be able to ask questions of the lawyers. And now that we're back, both those of you that are on Zoom, we always make it possible that if necessary, we provide an avenue for you to connect with us so you can have any kind of private consultation with any of the lawyers that may have exchanged with you and told you can certainly have an opportunity to call them. And of course, for those of you that are here, you always have the opportunity at the end of the program to speak privately with one of the attorneys. So the 3 parts of the program is, of course, the presentations that we do. The second part is your part. And then the third part is the time that those of you that are here will get to spend with some of the lawyers that are here. And for those of you that are on Zoom, the third part is that you get to share and be with each other and give good cheer to all of us that are both here and on Zoom. So those are the 3 parts of the program. We also always remind everyone that And we have to do this just as a requirement for all of the attorneys that are participating, and just so there's complete transparency, that there is no attorney-client relationship established by attending a discussion concerning legal issues or simply by asking question. None of the attorneys that are appearing on the panel tonight is an employee of National Action Network or its affiliates, and there is no liability assumed by National Action Network or any of the attorneys in attendance. And I always do remind everybody that if any of you, including those of you on Zoom, if you have any problem and you need to make any complaint, I want you to write the name down. His name is Arthur Robinson. And I can spell it for you as Robinson. And you can write him right here at 106 West 145th Street. And if you're going to sue, again, the name is Arthur Robinson. And that's the name that you should put on your complaint. Of course, we're about to say thank you to so many of the people that are part of the National Action Network staff that makes all of this happen. And Arthur is one of our champions here at National Action Network. And so we thank Arthur for all the work that he does, and also making so much of what happens here at the House of Justice happen. Arthur is the facility persons here at National Action Network's House of Justice. Also, David Robinson, who works side by side with Arthur. We also give thanks to all of our staff, our dear sister Katrina Jefferson, who's the liaison to Reverend Al Sharpton, and she's also the coordinator, as I always say, of all things here at the House of Justice. Katrina Jefferson, Debbie Clark, who's part of our crisis team here at National Action Network, Derek Perkinson, who's sitting here, and Derek is sitting in for Patrice Perry. And Patrice is usually the engine that helps make all of the Zoom stuff and legal night go. Patrice had another engagement tonight, and so Derek and others are helping to fill her shoes. But of course, we give thanks to Patrice Perry. Of course, Winston Gilchrist, who's the videographer for National Action Network. JT Trollinger and the Supreme Team. JT is now one of our key experts here at National Action Network in doing all the things electronically and broadcast wise, and making the Zoom happen in the way that it's happening. And we appreciate all of the work that JT Robinson does. And of course, our czar of the web connection. And, you know, I'm not a social media person. For those of you that don't know, you know, this is me. I still walk around with a flip phone. And if they didn't have a flip phone, you'd probably see me, because I would be at a rotary phone. Some of you probably don't even know what a rotary phone is anymore. But Ashley Sharpton makes all of these connections happen, makes us connected to all of you. And we're so appreciative of Ashley Sharpton and all that she does, along with Dominique Sharpton. Trying to make sure I haven't forgotten. We always give thanks to some of our volunteers here at National Action Network. Brenda Dock, Coven McCall, who used to man the station back here. He's not a volunteer, but I want to make sure we give Culver continued thanks for all the work that he does for Legal Night, Brenda Ricketts, and also, and I'm going to have him come in a second, the new head of our chapter operations here at National Action Network, the Honorable Reverend Dr. Malcolm Byrd, and he'll be up in just a second to give greetings to you. And of course, our two judges who are now judges in the state Supreme Court, but they were founding members of National Action Network, the Honorable Senria Edwards and the Honorable J. Michelle Sweeting, and we always give thanks to them. And of course, last but not least, we always read the names of the lawyers who are part of our Legal Night team. And those that are here with us tonight, they'll just give a little hand raise as they hear their name called. But Attorney Robert Bellison, who is with us tonight, Andrew Burson, David Blum, Gary Certain, Kyle Edmonds, Jeff Emden, and some of you guys may be here on Zoom. No one has given me a tag yet, so I can't see, but Jeff Emden, Carmen Giordano, Pete Gleason, Ken Gilbert, who is with us tonight. Yeah, there he is. Ted Kessler, Glenn Myers is with us tonight. Kim Parker, who's also now a judge on the bench here in New York State. We always give thanks to Kim. She was a part of our team. She's now sitting as a justice of the court here in New York State. Royce Russell, Denise Service, Wiley Stecklow, Kareem Vessup. We have another guest with us tonight, Michael Ross, who's joining us. Let's give him a hand. And last but not, I said Glenn Myers. Last but not least is Joe Schmelken. And I think I mentioned Wiley Stecklow and Kareem Vessup. Joel is also going to be our presenter tonight, and so we'll talk about that in just a moment. But give a big hand to all of the attorneys. And again, you know, you have to remember that the attorneys do not have to be here. We do not pay them. We couldn't afford to pay them, but they volunteer their services for you. They do it totally pro bono, and we can't thank them enough for what they do for all of you and by being here and giving up their time. So let's give them another big hand. And, you know, again, I always remind people that one of the great things about this is you can never really know what it's like. And National Action Network is based in crises. I don't think there's anybody better than National Action Network in knowing how to engage and facilitate situations where a crisis has occurred and where individuals are in crisis. It is not an easy thing to do, and oftentimes many of you, many of the families that we have worked with, nobody chooses to be in a crisis. And for the lawyers that are here, I think they all have an understanding of that too, because sometimes, you know, you may think you're in the deepest, darkest moments, but if you have an opportunity to be able to speak to someone that can counsel you for a minute, that can help give you some guidance and shine a little bit of light, it goes a very, very long way. So once again, we thank all of the lawyers for the specialty that they bring to this whole process. All right. All right, so we know what the games are, we know what the rules are. Again, the first part will be our presentation. And tonight, our presentation is our great attorney, Joe Schmelken. He will be talking about when someone gets hurt on someone's property. What can you do in those types of situations? So let's give a big welcome to Attorney Joe Schmelken. Oh, I'm sorry. You keep going and going, I start talking. Before we do Joe, I want to make sure I'm bringing up our new leader of our chapter efforts here at National Action Network, again, the Honorable Dr. Malcolm Burbs.
Good evening, dear friends and partners in the struggle. I am not Attorney Schmelken, but we both wear pinky rings. Will you join me this evening in putting our hands together and offering a rousing round of applause for Attorney Michael Hardy? You can do better than that. Come on, come on. Attorney Hardy is the mastermind or the convener of our legal night, which is an essential hallmark of the National Action Network. You are to be commended, those of you who are filled the House of Justice tonight and those of you who are watching from points all over the country on Zoom, you are to be commended because you have taken on this evening the agency to do something about perhaps the bad hand that has been dealt to you. You've come for answers, and this night is designed to point you to where answers and perhaps relief and justice can be found. It has been said that the worst place you can ever be is the right place at the wrong time. But on tonight, those of you who are here present and those of you who are viewing through Zoom, you are in the right place and the right time for the shift to happen in your situation. You are to be commended for being in the right place at the right time. The National Action Network is a justice crisis institution of which we don't apologize. And this door of entry, this open door this evening that has been afforded to you is within the spirit of who we are as an organization. We want you to receive in every respect the justice that you deserve. Let's put our hands together again for our attorneys who are with us on tonight, those who are seated, those who are perhaps on the Zoom. I can't even calculate what the retainer fee would be if they gave us a bill. But thankfully, there are persons in our community who are committed to the fight for human liberation and dignity, and they don't attach a bill to helping you get the justice you deserve. Let's give them a rousing round of applause. And finally, Attorney Hardy has addressed it, but as an employee of the National Action Network, I want to ensure that we remind you again, if you have your smart device on you, for those of you who are watching on Zoom, go on to www.nationalactionnetwork.net. As soon as you go onto the page, our web page, you will see the registration information for our NAN 2023 convention. Just as important as your presence is in this room tonight or on Zoom tonight, so shall your presence be equally important as an attendee at our NAN convention. We want you in the house. We're glad you're here tonight. And we pray in every sense of the word that relief for you and your situation can come from your presence tonight. Thank you for being with us.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Bird, and we're so blessed, if you will, to have Dr. Bird have joined part of our team. Also, normally Derek Perkison, who runs the crisis department, would also give a quick greetings. Derek, do you want to do so, or?
Absolutely. Thank you, Attorney Hardy. Greetings, everyone. Thank you for coming to NAN's Legal Night. You can't hear me? Oh, okay. Excuse me. Okay. Good evening, Nan, family. Good to have you all in the building. I've dealt with a lot of the crisis cases that's coming through here, but we could not do this work without the attorneys. So I want you to give it up for the attorneys, please. Because without them, I don't know where to send you guys. So either way it goes, good, bad, or indifferent, at least I have a better idea on how we could possibly help you. And if you're not a member, please join today. No justice, no peace.
All right, thanks, Derek. All right, so here we are. We are now ready for Joel Schmelkin, who will give a presentation on what happens if you get hurt on someone's property.
Anatomy of a lawsuit.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for members of NAN tonight. Look, before I introduce myself, and it bears repetition, but I'll say it again, we are blessed. We are thankful really to have such great staff members over here at the National Action Network. Derek and what he does with crisis, not only here in New York, but across the country in terms of coordinating all chapters is phenomenal, because crisis and people that have needs and have questions, they know they can come to NAN. They know that NAN has your back, and we'll never throw you under the bus. We'll always be there for you. I thank so many people here at NAN, Patrice and Katrina and Arthur and Brenda, Culver, Debbie, Goldie, you know, the list goes on, Dominique, Ashley, and of course, Reverend Sharpton for doing everything that he does for civil rights in this country, not only for the past 31, 32 years for NAN, but since he was born, as we know, you can't get a better civil rights leader and a better civil rights organization than NAN to help all that have gotten the short end of the stick. So really, we are blessed. We're thankful to have such great people, because it is on their shoulders that we attorneys can stand to be able to do what we try to do to help the community. Okay, my name is Joel Schmelkin, and I am an attorney. I like to think of myself as a civil rights attorney representing those who've been pushed aside, discriminated against, underrepresented, whenever you've gotten the short end of the stick. We handle negligence cases. When someone is injured due to someone else's fault, you have redress. You have various claims, and we're going to talk about some of them tonight. I got my background in civil rights and in representing individuals right here in Harlem, going to school at City College in the 70s and continuing at New York Law School. I like to feel a special bond with this community. It's a great community, a great history, and great people, and I'm happy to help out any which way we can, any which way I can. So when can you sue? How many people here think that if you are injured on someone's property and it's not your fault, you're entitled to money, just like that? Raise your hand if you think so. Well, a lot of people think so. It's not that easy. Not that easy. It doesn't come so easy. When you are injured on someone's property, you just can't sue for money damages. Oh, you can, but you're not going to collect unless you can show negligence. What is negligence? Negligence is a failure to act in a reasonable fashion under the circumstances. You've got to show that there's a dangerous condition and that the person that owns the property, and we're talking about getting injured on someone's property, either knew about that condition and failed to do something about it, or that they created the condition. If you are in a supermarket, and let's assume you fall, and you got terrible injuries, a client comes to me and says, well, I've got these terrible injuries and I've got a bad fracture and they've done 3 surgeries already and we may have some more and I may lose my leg. And I say, all right, well, what did you fall on? I don't know. Why did you fall? I don't know. Is that a case? How many people think it's a case? Raise your hand. It's not a case. You've got to be able to show what did the individual fall on and did the supermarket know about it? Now, if the stock clerk is stocking shelves and a bottle of water falls, breaks the glass on the floor, they created the condition. They're responsible. Or if you're going shopping with your daughter in the store and you go to the meat section and she goes to the produce section, and she sees that there's water on the floor and she goes to the clerk and says, you better mop it up, someone's gonna break their neck. And the clerk says, hey, 12 o'clock, time for my lunch. I'll get to it whenever. Later on, her mother falls. Well, the daughter knew that that was happening, and the daughter knew, and she made a complaint, and they didn't do anything. That's what we call negligence. Now, when you are on someone's property, you're going to fit into one of three different categories. You are going to be what we call a licensee, an invitee, or a trespasser. What do I mean by that? What's a licensee? Well, very simple. If I'm a landlord and I have an apartment building and I give you a lease, you're a licensee. There's a contract, there's a lease, and you're permitted to use the premises. It's my premises, but you can use it. You're going to pay me rent for a certain amount of time. And you're permitted to stay there. A invitee is someone who maybe you're going to be the guest of a tenant, or maybe you're going to be the letter carrier bringing in the mail, or the guy that makes the UPS delivery or something to that effect. You're an invitee. You have a purpose of being there. You're the meter reader. You're reading the gas meter, the electric meter. Or you can be a trespasser, someone that just is a vandal. Okay. Now, years ago, it made a difference. The standard of care that the individual was entitled to receive was based upon what your condition was. If you were a licensee, the landlord had, or the building owner had to give the highest degree of care or reasonable care for you. If you were a invitee, someone who maybe delivers the mail, you had to give some care. And if you were a trespasser, you just couldn't hurt the guy. And I say this because of the fact that there were cases years and years ago where someone had a garage and vandals would break in every week and steal his tools and steal items from there. So what the guy did was he rigged up some sort of a gun so that when the vandal opened the garage door, he was shot. Well, you couldn't do that. You can't hurt them. But years ago, this was a standard, as long as you didn't hurt somebody. Now it doesn't make a difference. You have to, the landlord has to give a reasonable standard of care to everybody, no matter who they are. So what does that really mean when you think about it? Well, you know what? Let's assume, and this is an odd and bizarre situation, but theoretically speaking, if somebody breaks into your house, you're home, you're not home, and they attempt to steal your things, and they run out, and on your driveway, you've got a driveway full of potholes and broken conditions, and that person trips and breaks their neck, believe it or not, no jury's going to give them money, but believe it or not, they can sue you. A burglar can sue you. All right? Pretty strange. I don't know an attorney that would take that case. I wouldn't take that case. And I got a pretty liberal mind when it comes to taking these cases. My standards are many times I'll take many cases, I'll come up with theories. I wouldn't take that case. But the point I'm trying to make is the same standard of care is what's implemented, what has to be implemented. Now, anybody here a member of a tenants association? Raise your hand if you're a member of a tenants association. Okay. You and I should talk in the break, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. Years ago, what I've done is I've gone to tenants associations and I've met with the members, and we did what I call the walk. And when I say the walk, I stood outside on the sidewalk, and we walked through the courtyard, and we walked into the lobby, we walked into the building, and I pointed out all of these defects that I saw, what your landlord should have fixed. And I got to tell you something. I remember being one time at a nice old building on the Grand Concourse, one of those Art Deco buildings, you know, that were gorgeous, like in the 40s and 50s, but these landlords let the buildings go to pot and neglect, and they're become rat holes nowadays. And I saw some of these gorgeous buildings that the landlords just didn't take care of and didn't care about their tenants. And I got to tell you something, it was a plaintiff's attorney's bonanza what I saw, these defective conditions, lawsuits left and right coming about. I was like a kid in a candy store, just seeing all of these defective conditions. And we pointed these things out. And I want to talk to you about some of those things, which really brings us to what we're here for tonight, to tell you about these types of cases that you could have and what to watch out for in your buildings. Okay, so let's do this over here now. Picture in your mind a building and you're on the sidewalk. Okay. Based upon what type of building it is, whether it's a one-family house or a multiple dwelling, the landlord has to maintain that sidewalk. If this is a multiple dwelling, a 5 or 6 family building or a major building and the sidewalk is broken and cracked, landlord's got to fix that. They've got to repair it. They've got to repave it. And if they don't do that, they're going to be responsible. They have to know about it. So if you're a member in that building, you're going to write a letter to your landlord. You're not going to call them on the phone because of the fact that they're going to say they never had the conversation. You're not going to write them a letter because they're going to claim they never received it. Or you're going to write a certified letter. Or better yet, you're going to send an email. And you'll have a record in terms of what you notified them about this dangerous type of condition. Now, on the sidewalk, you know, in the wintertime, but not this winter, you know, many times you've got bad snow. And the snow is a slippery condition. It's not properly shoveled. And we've had situations where we've had claims against the building owners for failing to maintain the sidewalk on a multiple dwelling where they have to maintain, and they have to shovel the sidewalk. The city is going to be responsible for the roadway, for the curb, or that little curb cut, I call it, like the wheelchair ramp, you know? But many times the landlord will do that as well. I have a case right now in the appellate division that we won in the lower courts, but the city and the private building owner, who we both sued because our client fell in that curb cut area, were contesting in terms of whose obligation it was and what they've done and things of that nature. So sometimes you're going to claim against the building owner and against the landlord itself for that particular condition. You have a situation where you're walking through the courtyard. You know, you have those little lampposts. If the light bulbs are burnt out and you're walking at night, it's a tripping hazard. That's a defective condition. Those are conditions you can sue your landlord for if they, again, know about it. Now, you're walking into the vestibule area. You have many situations where you got a buzzer system, an intercom system. That's not working. I have a case right now where a woman was raped in the building. There was a problem with the buzzer system. The landlord went, they told all of the tenants that their new company was going to be installing a new buzzer system so that vagrants couldn't get in. There'd been history of prior incidents in that particular building. It wasn't done. Someone had broken in and they never caught the fellow. There were other issues that developed, but the issue now is that a jury could come to a reasonable conclusion that had a buzzer system been implemented, this could have been prevented. Now, you know, you're in a lobby sometimes. And how many times you see in the lobby, you know, you have those rugs that are in front of the elevators. And if the rugs are rumpled or curled up, it's a tripping hazard. All right, these things have to be maintained. They have to be inspected. The landlord has to take care of that. The super in the building has to take care of that as well. You have water because of the fact that the super is mopping but not cleaning up and there are no cones or signs or ropes. They're responsible if you slip on that. Many times in a lot of old buildings, you have the old tiles, the nice patterns. They're not taken care of and they're missing. And it's a tripping hazard. Or you have an elevator. How many times you walk in an elevator and you see you have a misleveled situation and you go in, it's a tripping hazard. Or I've had cases in the office where the elevator just drops from the 5th floor down to the 1st floor. And then all of a sudden stops and you fall within the elevator cart. These are cases against the building owner, against the managing agent, against the elevator company. We've got cases also where, again, the elevator is not working and the tenants are forced to use the staircase. And the staircases are defective because you have risers, the difference between the height and the steps. There are different levels. You have a step which is slanted. You have a step which is made of marble and the other one is made of concrete or made of wood. And as a result, as you're walking up the steps, your foot doesn't have what an engineer will call the step doesn't have what an engineer will call the proper coefficient of friction. So you're not able really to stop, or you don't get the same grasp as you would if the steps had been uniform. These are engineering defects. This happens many times. You have a situation where you have the door, you have a peephole which is not functioning. You don't have it in there, and you open up a door, you let a vagrant, a vandal in. You don't know who it is. The individual had gained access due to inadequate security. These are also cases. Or how many times do you see where you have a leak in your ceiling and you're looking up and you see little droplets of water, and you see paint which is chipping and peeling, and you see buckling? Well, that's a ceiling which is waiting to fall. That's an accident waiting to happen. This is in your apartment itself. These are defects. These are conditions where you must report it to your landlord, because they'll claim they didn't know anything about it. And unlike a defective condition in a common area like the lobby or the courtyard, the landlord doesn't make inspections in your private apartment unless you're going to let them know about it. One of the cases we've had over the years, and we've all heard about these things on the news, and it's a terrible situation. I hope nobody ever does this. You have the heat, which is not functioning properly. So you open up the stove and you use the stove to heat. Never, ever, ever do something like that. We had a case years ago, young mother, young kids in the building, opened up the stove, used it as a heat. I understand it was freezing and I understand what she did, but it was a terrible thing. Opening up the stove and the little baby's walking. Baby puts his hands on the stove. He screams in pain. His hands are stuck to the stove. His big sister instinctively pulls him away very, very quickly. Now, whether if that was the right thing to do or not, you can't blame her. You had to just get the baby away from that. His hands were full of blood. The skin was on the stove. He was rushed to Jacobi Hospital, the burn center. Hands used in gloves fit for him for years and years. And I remember this case and watching the young man grow, and ultimately was resolved. But I remember seeing his hands. I'll never forget that. Seeing his hands, what they looked like. His palms of his hands looked like the back of an alligator with that rough type skin, with all the skins graft that he had. I mean, these are defective conditions. These are conditions that never should have gotten that way. The mother shouldn't have done that, but you know what? You understand you had to get heat in that particular building. We've had cases where if you have a problem with the thermostat in the mixing chambers in the bathtub, and you put the water on and it's cold, and a second later it goes from cold to 250 degrees. Terrible. We've had a situation like that where an elderly man, he was paralyzed when he was a kid. He was shot, and he was paralyzed from the waist down, and he used to go in the shower, in the bathtub. He couldn't feel anything in his legs. And he was one day in this particular bathtub, didn't realize that the water went from cold to hot. And here it is, it's 250 degrees, and he doesn't have any feeling. Or doesn't have the feeling that a normal person would have had. After a while he was being burned, didn't even realize it, ultimately got out, and the next day his legs just blew up with all sorts of second-degree blisters and burns. You had a defective condition in the boiler. And usually when that happens, it's not just his apartment, but all the apartments on the same line. Those things happen as well. Windows in your building, watch your windows. Sometimes you don't have the proper friction. Had situations where we put the window up, client looks outside, hands on the windowsill, the window comes down like a guillotine. She lost a few fingers, something like that. She's lucky she didn't stick her head out the window. And then, of course, there's one of the worst and one of the most sad situations that you have inside buildings, and that's lead poisoning. You know, lead was very, very, it was great when you had lead paint. People thought in the 1940s and 50s, if you had lead paint in your apartment, it was like driving a Cadillac, you know, it was great. It was top of the line. People didn't realize the dangers, but in 1959 in New York City, lead was outlawed. The landlords had to get rid of all lead paint. They could do it by scraping down the walls and repainting, which they didn't do. It cost too much. They could put sheetrock up and then paint the sheetrock. It was a little less expensive. They just didn't want to do it. Or they could do nothing, which is what most landlords did. Or they would just paint, fresh paint on the old paint. Problem was when the fresh paint would chip, the old bad paint would come about. And we've had cases where I've spoken with some of the parents of some of the youngsters, And they've told me about seeing lead chips on the fingers, on the tongue, on the baby's rattle, on the blankets. And kids are exposed by this. Lead is a poison. It causes learning disability, mentally retardation, and in some cases even death. We don't have that as much, luckily, as you had years back, but they are still existing. My suggestion is if anybody here has children or grandchildren under the age of 10, and I'm not a doctor, so I'm never going to give medical advice, but as a friend, common sense would say, get the kids checked out, get them checked out for lead. You never know when something like that could happen. So these are just a few dangers that I've just wanted to share with you, cases that we've had over the years, just by seeing what goes on in buildings. So what's the takeaway? I have a 4-step takeaway from this, and that's as follows. Number one, identify the condition. Okay? See specifically what the problem is. I've given you certain examples, what to watch out for, and then give the landlord notice of that condition. We have something in New York City, the state of New York, called the multiple dwelling law, Section 78, where the landlord has to maintain the building in a reasonably safe and habitable condition. And if they don't do that, they're going to be responsible. So you're going to identify the condition, you're going to give it to the landlord, the notice. And first and foremost, if you're injured, you're going to get medical treatment. Because case or no case, your health always comes first. And no one can ever fault you claiming, oh, he's just trying to make a case or she's just in it for the money. No, you're injured, you get medical treatment. I'm not speaking like a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I don't give advice, but it's common sense. And it's common sense that no one can ever fault you for getting the medical treatment if you are injured. And the fourth thing is afterwards, contact a lawyer. And I say this because of the fact that there are different deadlines that people don't realize that you must adhere to, or if you have a case, you're not going to have a case, especially if you are injured in a city-owned building, in a New York City housing building, in a New York State dormitory building. You've got certain deadlines. We're not going to go through this now. We've done this before, but we have something called a notice of claim, which means that within 90 days, 90, and that goes very, very quickly, you've got to identify the potential problem, giving your name, giving the attorney's name, giving the date, the time, the manner of the occurrence, what your items of damages are. And there are a lot of other procedures that go about that afterwards. The point is, if you're injured, get legal advice right away. And hopefully everybody stays well and healthy and safe. And we're here to answer whatever questions you may have. And thank you very much for coming down today.
All right. Want to thank Joel for that. And, you know, let me just say, because I look at all of these attorneys and even some of you out there, all nicely dressed, very spiffy. Tell you what age does. I literally woke up today. I knew legal night was happening, but I thought it was tomorrow night. So you have to excuse my appearance because I didn't have time then as the day went on to go home and change. But that's what happens when you get older. Anyway, with that said, all right, so this is going to be your moment. We're going to take your questions, and we have the microphone here. You can begin lining up. We always tell you, of course, and I'm also speaking to those of you that are online, that you want to make sure that you keep your you know, questions or stories or comments as concise as possible, you know, because again, there are going to be a number of people that are going to want to speak and share. And so you want to, can we get the screen up over here? Want to,
You want to do what? What you want?
we can see people.
Hey, the camera. It's the camera. It's not me. What you mean? You want to see you want to see
We
this?
want to view the people that are online.
Like this? Like this?
Yes, like that.
Okay.
Absolutely. All right. Because I'm here talking to the people online. We want to see you too. That's the whole purpose of it. So in fact, what we're going to do is the first couple of questions we're going to take. We're going to get to everyone that's online and everyone that is that's on this line and everyone that's online on Zoom. But I'm going to start out by taking some of our Zoom calls first. And again, the other caveat that we give, for those of you that are literally in a situation where you may have an adversarial situation going on, we know that you may not be happy about whoever your adversary is. You may dislike that person intensely. You may have really horrible things to say about them. Don't say that here. Because what we don't want you to do is get overly personal with whoever your adversary is and create additional problems for you, because you don't want to be in a position where you may say something publicly about someone that they claim is not true or defamatory, and then you'll have another lawsuit on you. We also remind everyone, and believe me, it has happened, you know, if you just killed somebody around the corner, don't confess it tonight with all of us. There are attorneys. You can tell them that we need to speak privately, but don't tell all of us. You know, you can tell the attorneys. So we're going to start out on the Zoom with Joseph Brown. Joseph Brown. Make sure he gets unmuted and.
Hello. Can you hear me?
I don't know if they could hear me.
Well, I think either you have to unmute
Oh.
them or they have to unmute themselves.
Rodney, can they hear us?
Hello?
Oh, no.
I can
Rodney
hear you.
Johnson,
Oh,
can you hear
yes.
us?
We're
Where's-
having a bad connection here because I'm
You
from
hear us here?
Buffalo. And
Yes,
it's
okay,
like,
they can hear us.
it's a
Right,
real
who you
bad
trying to unmute?
connection.
I'm
Joseph
unmuted.
Brown.
Can you hear
Brown.
me?
Joseph Brown. There you go.
All right. Joseph,
How are you?
Mr. Joseph Brown.
is he unmuted?
Can you hear me?
All right. You're up, Joseph.
Can you hear me?
Now,
I'm
can we
here.
hear him?
Yeah, I don't hear him talking.
I can hear you.
The volume is all the way up, guys.
Hello?
I think
Hello?
I hear him.
Take an in-house person so we can figure it out.
All right. Sorry, all
Can you hear me?
right, now we have an echo, so we don't need that.
Can you hear me?
All right, so they'll Joseph, stand by. We had Joseph, and then we were gonna go, there's still an echo. Then we were gonna go to Terrell and Terrell,
You hear me?
Payee and Antoinette Miller. So those are the first three. They're all on Zoom. So we want to make
you hear
sure
me?
that we can, get to them. In the meantime, we'll go to the first person.
Can you hear me?
Good evening.
Hello?
I think we have to put his mic on. Oh.
Oh, it was on.
Yeah, it's a jump.
Speak again, Gilbert. There you go.
No, you could hear me? Oh, okay.
And now I have inputs contradicting.
All right, the volume on the speaker.
Hello?
Use this one.
Can you hear me?
My name is Gilbert Cameron. I was maliciously prosecuted in the Bronx Supreme Court and clear absent of any indictment. After 14 years and 51 days in state custody, The prosecution somehow sent me the paper that showed that I was never, ever indicted. And I went to trial by a judge. And now every lawyer in New York State is scared of this judge and scared to represent me. I was here on January 26, 2023, this year, and I was given a lawyer who bounced my case around, and something got to give on this. Everything stemmed from a paternity proceeding in the Bronx Family Court. Ain't no way I should have went to trial. And in the process, August 5th, 2010, 15 ADA was fired from the Bronx District Court for falsifying indictment and other evidence. And now no lawyer in New York State will take my case. Am I right? Am I right? No lawyer. My case was bounced around from January 26 all the way up to now. This is my second time here. And I know I'm coming back next month because no lawyer will take my case
All right.
because this case goes against a judge that did wrong. And I'm asking again for help.
All right. Anybody want to ask any questions here?
I'm ready.
Anyone meeting,
How
anyone
you doing,
who,
sir? You said family court?
Yeah, everything stemmed from family
Oh,
court.
stemming from family court. So
Yeah.
you got arrested though, because you said indictment. And only
I
indictments
said
are in.
everything stemmed from family court. This female, the mother of the child, she used the Bronx Supreme Court and prosecution.
Okay, so you were arrested.
Yeah, I was
Okay,
arrested.
you're arrested and this year, 2023? No,
2008,
2008.
2008, June 17, 2008.
And you have paperwork that your conviction should be overturned.
Yeah, I got paper showing the contradiction from the federal court. From the federal court, I got the prosecution record of filing on me that showed that I was never, ever indicted.
And this was in the Bronx, right?
Bronx Supreme
Okay.
Court,
So the
Judge
Bronx-
Margaret Clancy.
So the Bronx District Attorney's Office, they have a conviction integrity unit. And they take a look at cases like this. So after this is over, after the question and answer session, I'll talk to you more about that.
Okay.
All right, hold on. We're gonna try to now go to Joseph Brown. Joseph Brown?
Hello, can you hear me?
Brown, talk. Can somebody talk online?
Can everybody online hear us? Can
can
somebody
hear
talk
you.
online so I can hear you?
yes, I
I
can.
can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
We can hear you.
You
I
can
hear
hear
you.
them.
I hear them.
Everybody
They're
hear
not
me?
gonna hear, right?
Joseph Brown.
I'm going to take it out. We can
I'm
take it out,
online.
but it's not gonna be on the screen.
I can hear you.
You hear them.
Hello,
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we're trying to, we can hear you. We can hear you, but we're trying to make it so that everybody can hear you and.
can anybody hear
Sometimes
me?
they gotta turn off
I
their
can hear
camera.
Joseph Brown.
You can hear me?
I can hear Joseph Brown.
See if he can turn off his camera. Sometimes the camera
All right,
interferes.
well, okay, for those of you that are online, they're still
Hello?
trying to, I guess we're a little off on the technology tonight, but
Can you hear me?
that might
Joseph,
be
I can
coming from
hear
one of the
you.
speakers
Well,
down
Kevin,
there, but-
explain to them. I put the story in the chat. Could you have somebody in there read what I put?
I can try. I can try.
All right, well, while they figure that out, yes, sir.
How you doing? My name is Wesley Alexander Hooks. I'm in a federal court right now. I filed a suit against the city of New York City Police Department. And they, city of New York, the federal litigating agency for the police department had a pretrial hearing without me. They basically violate my constitutional rights knowingly and willingly. I have all the documents. It's online, Wesley Alexander Hooks. You understand me? So every attorney I try to get, the police pay them off. That's because I'm suing the city of New York City Police Department for over $250 million. And they have a female officer, and yes, I will say this, they try to countersuit me. They dismiss that because when you have video footage and documentation where they falsify documents, and this has been going on from February 16th of 2020. I'm online, Wesley Alexander Hooks. Every attorney I get, they pay them off. You understand me? So I don't need an attorney for clout because this is basically a one case already.
Okay.
It's documented. When these guys are attorney, right? You have a pre-trial hearing without me.
Testing,
I told
testing.
them, how you gonna have a party without the DJ? You understand? I made a joke, but I was serious. I was at 500 Pearl Street. The senior deputy of clerks said, you cannot have a pretrial conference without all parties being present. But they did. It's documented. So if I can get an attorney that's not gonna sell me out and take the buyout, and yes, I'm saying it's public, because that's what they're doing. I'm saying it's public.
What year was your case filed
2020,
in?
February 16th, 2020.
Okay,
I brought 38 cell phones. They're probably wiretapping your stuff now. I don't get high. I'm living the Will Smith, what's that, Enemy of the State of 2023. It's online. Video evidence, sister's a witness. They record her phone. You
right,
understand me?
okay.
So, and I seen you guys last year. Since then, they illegally convict me for breaking, and all this happened because I left a woman. I know it sounds bizarre, but my time is more valuable than to settle out of court. You understand me?
Right.
I'm 65 years old. It took me away from my kids. They blocked all the numbers in my phone. If I don't go to her job, I won't be able to talk to her on the phone. That's bizarre.
Okay.
That's absurd.
All right,
So if I get an attorney that's not gonna take a buyout or not gonna sell me out, because I came here before, attorney said, oh, I can't take the case. I'm busy. Come on, this is online. All because of a female officer that does this for clout. You understand me? And you look at, she works for the sex crime unit, and that's sad that the city taxpayers pay money for this officer to continue to try to set up men for clout.
all
You
right.
understand me?
So what we'll do is, you
Yeah, I
know,
said it, and
when-
I'm publicly saying it.
right. So when we,
I gotta say one more thing.
yep,
They have been wiretapping, buying people out of the apartments. I moved from Gramercy Park to Jersey City, and I can prove without a reasonable doubt they are in different apartments because I'm not suing them for peanuts. How much is your time worth? I can replace any phone and all that, but my time, you took me away from my kids. You understand me? It's online.
right,
Wesley
okay.
Alexander Hooks.
Right, all right.
Okay.
So again, when we finish this segment, one of you'll be able to speak with
Okay.
the attorneys, and then we'll take it from there.
Got you.
All right,
Sorry for
thank
taking
you.
your time.
All right, can we go to the Zoom yet? All right, good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Juanita Anderson. I'm a retiree. I worked all my life. I've been living in Harlem for 22 years in the same apartment. Last year, because of the COVID, I call it the plague, I had a private babysitting service for my building. And I lost, because of COVID, okay? I got behind in my
So you can
rent.
hear me, right?
Like I said, I've been there a long time.
Can they
My
unmute them?
landlord helped me file for a
Okay.
one-shot deal. I filed in June of last year. Okay, now
Okay.
fast forward.
All right.
August, I had a Zoom call. I got approved for my back rent.
Oh my
And
God,
then
what's over?
I went to
Jesus
Detroit to see my family. My sister was having an operation. I got back. My landlord said she hadn't heard anything. October, I found out they wanted more information, which I gave to them. 42 documents I gave to the city. Now, fast forward to and I kept paying my rent after September. I started just paying my rent, because I figured the back rent would be paid by the city. It was not. It still hasn't been paid. January 21st, I get a notice saying they dismissed my case, but I have papers that said it was approved in August. And for all of that, they put me through 42 documents that I gave them from former employees,
Okay.
my retirement, my social security, what I get, everything, and still nothing until January 21st, I get a letter saying it was denied and I need to reapply. So I want to speak to somebody
All right.
about the city.
Okay. So again, when we get to the next segment, when we take the
Yes.
break, you'll be able to speak with one of the attorneys and they can take a quick look at any of the documents
All
that you
right.
have.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right. We need to adjust the mic.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Ernest Waters, and this is a housing situation. Okay, I'm in a wheelchair, and I had a tub with a bench. They renovated the whole building, and they took my tub and bench and gave me a shower. Now, I can't use the shower because I don't have no push in the legs. I can't hold myself up when I sit on the bench without, holding on something so I could fall off. And plus, it wets up the floor when you try to take a shower in there. And I was told to talk to the manager. So now we got two managers, so I told them both. Then I was told to write a letter and send it to the landlord agency. So I did that, and I also called them and told them. And I'm going through this problem.
All right, some of that is they're trying to work on the overall technology, but keep going.
Okay, I'm still going through this problem, and if I try to take a shower and the floor and stuff gets wet or pushes in the feet, then I could fall off and hurt myself. And I spoke to them a numerous times. Now I heard that young man say that you can't sue him or something. I'm not trying to sue him. I just want my tub back with my bench like I had it before.
First of all, I want to thank you very much, this young man. I haven't been called that in many, many years. Well, thank you very much. Okay, look, in your building, who's the landlord? Is it a public landlord? Okay. And is there a managing agent, someone that's assigned to this particular building that you deal with when you pay your rent? You've spoken with that individual?
Right.
All right. And did you ever point out to them all of these situations that you're telling us right now?
Yes.
And what did they tell you?
To write the letter.
Okay,
And they never got back.
All right. And when all right. When you wrote the letter, did you ever follow up with that? Did you ever call them to ask them if they got the letter? Okay. See, this is, they're going to claim they didn't get the letter. Find out if they have an email.
We're calling for customer
Perhaps
number
email that to them. I don't know if you know how to use the technology, whatever, you can do that. That's great.
0
Email them the letter, find out who the supervisor
3
is.
regarding
Give them a
pickup
call,
time
follow up
for
afterwards. They don't do anything. I want you to call
Friday,
me in the office.
February
I'll talk to you about that.
24th.
Okay? Thank you. Thank you. And thank you very much, young man. Okay?
Your pickup times are 9:20 a.m. and
Young man.
4 20 PM. And the times are
My name is Alexander Saunders.
8
And I think you,
and
Time out, time out.
4:23 PM. If you have any questions or need to change these trips, please call.
Let's see, we were trying to speak with Joseph Brown or Terrell Hay or Antoinette.
Thank you.
Three.
Cabral PA is here.
Can you hear me?
Is Joseph, can you ask him if he can unmute himself? Joseph Brown.
I'm not muted.
You talking, Joe?
Yes, I am.
We can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me?
Okay, just go. I'll stand here. I got you. Go.
We can hear you.
Okay. All right, thank you for the time.
I'd like to speak to him.
You gotta mute everybody else that's on the
I hear other people.
We can hear you.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to ignore it because I hear other chatter, but basically, thank you for having me here. Thank you for listening.
Oh, I'm sorry, I muted him again.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for this platform to hear the people who are going through situations that are not being addressed by private attorneys. To make a long story short, I'm a former teacher in New York City for 25 years. I provide for my mom, who has basically she's been on public assistance Medicaid her entire life. Health insurance isn't the greatest. I moved her out of New York City to New Jersey. She was having a great time there. However, in Thanksgiving of 2021, we found her on the floor in her bedroom in the morning. We took her to the hospital. They said she had COVID. At that time, my mother could eat. She could use the bathroom on her own. She can walk. She could do most of the things that we all can do. She entered that hospital. They treated her for the COVID, put her in short-term care, and that's when it went downhill. She developed bed sores. They were giving her physical therapy. However, all of a sudden, she can't walk. She has severe drop foot. She's probably never going to be able to walk again. Her condition was so severe that we put a do not resuscitate on her because she was unresponsive. When we got her back, when they basically said they can't do much more for her and we should put her in hospice. My sister took her home and cared for her and basically became a nurse at home. She developed a softball-sized mass on her side near her kidney. We asked them what's the situation with it. They said they took x-rays, they took scans. They said maybe we need to take the kidney out. They suggested to take the kidney out. We said she can't survive that at this point. She's at this point, she's fed by a tube. Okay, so she went in walking, talking, just like us. She gets out, she has drop foot, she's really regulated to a wheelchair. We can't give her physical therapy because they exhausted all of her physical therapy in the short-term care facility. She develops a softball-sized mass on her side. She's in and out the hospital maybe 2 or 3 times. It says something's wrong with her kidney. Should we remove it? We told them no. Again, she's living with this softball-sized mass on her side for about a year. She finally, out of nowhere, starts complaining about it. She dealt with it previously, but this time she's complaining about it. And in January of 23, we called the hospital. We called 911 to have her go to a routine hospital visit. That's when they said they had no beds in the hospital she normally goes to. So they rerouted her to another neighborhood hospital. That's where they found a drainage tube. It's about 6 inches long that was left inside of her for about a year. That was the cause of the mass on her side. That was the cause for her bleeding and pus leaking for almost 10 months. At that point, you know, we have to turn her over to clean her. She's in, you know, she's bedridden. It was extreme pain when she had to be on that side.
Question,
Okay,
sweetie.
so, Joseph, what we're gonna do is first, let me just ask you, what's the assistance that you're now looking for?
We're looking for malpractice, negligence, for them to leave a drainage tube that does not supposed to be left in your body. It's a tube. When they find an infection, they cut you open, they put the tube in, and it drains an infection. She wasn't supposed to leave the hospital with that drainage tube in her. She left the hospital with that drainage tube in her, and it stayed in her for a year until another hospital found it. But she was she was x-rayed and scanned multiple times to the point where they wanted to take her kidney.
All right, okay.
We just, yeah.
So I think Joseph, what we'll do, and I believe Debbie Clark, do you have Joseph's contact number?
We can get it. Joseph Brown? Is his name Joseph
Yes.
Brown?
No, yeah, Joseph Brown. Do we have Joseph Brown's contact information?
I will put it in the chat.
All right, Joseph, put it in the chat, and then just to facilitate it, you know, we will circle with you tomorrow to both, you know, get any additional information, and then try to facilitate a conversation with one of the attorneys.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, thank you. All right, is Terrell paid?
That's me.
Oh, great. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Terrell PA. Thank you for having me. I want to start off by saying that first of all, I work for both the state government, and I work for the federal government. And my issue started off, I just wanted to go get my son a burger. I live in the state of Pennsylvania. I live in a small rural county where the population here is 74% European. African American is 2.5%. I am the only African American in my area that owns my own home. It starts off and it's different levels to my story, but I just want to just kind of like get to the meats and potato, because I know you guys are pressed for a little time. Went to a fast food establishment trying to order a burger. I was ordered out of the line and told that they wouldn't serve me. They told me that just because I asked about the menu, just like any other person, I just thought it was some kids playing a joke. I wanted to speak to a manager. So I wanted, but I was met with, I was told that if I was to come in, that the manager, I didn't even know it was the manager. I was met with, if you come in, I was going to be escorted out by the police. Again, this establishment was right next door to my son's job. I had just taken him to work. Fast forward, I just went in wanting to speak to the manager. When I went in, spoke to the manager. Didn't know that when the manager came out, I didn't know that the person that I was speaking to on the intercom, it was the manager. She called the police. all because I questioned some things on the menu. I just had an issue. So she called the police on me. When the police came, 2 officers showed up. Again, my son's job, 60 yards away next door. My son is 17 years old. Again, I'm in public safety, the public service realm. A stellar record. I've never been in trouble. Again, I've come, let me get to the story. So police comes, 2 officers in a vehicle. One goes into the establishment. The other officer talks to me. I tell the one officer everything that happens. The other officer that goes into the establishment. 10 minutes later, the other officer comes out without talking to his partner at all. Next thing I know, I'm thrown up against my car without him even speaking to his partner, without even getting anything. I had my billfold in my hand. I have my badge in my hand. You know, even after he grabs my badge out of my hand, he belittles me. He says, "What are you doing with a badge? Who gave you a badge? Are you on duty? You know, you're a disgrace. You make me sick." You know, and all along I already knew. And not to mention, I am a trainer. I train police officers.
So did they arrest you? Or?
Yeah, I need to say that he put me in custody. He threw me up against the car. He had me in custody. He put handcuffs on me. I was detained. I was not read Miranda rights. The whole time I'm on CCTV, I'm asking, had he viewed the CCTV? He automatically, just, as I said, detained me. I'm in handcuffs. I'm detained, put in the car, everything. Never spoke to his partner, and his partner never spoke up. Never, not one time.
So because we're gonna have to move to the next. So what do you want to do?
Everything that's possible.
What does that mean?
What I want to do is I want to move forward with everything that I can move forward with. I want to know what of my legal, so I can tell you what I've done so far. Because what I've done so far, because, you know, when I've tried to obtain legal representation, let me tell you what one law firm told me. One law firm told me, say, one law firm told me, "Oh, we don't handle cases up here like that. We don't take cases against officers here. We don't do that up here." So
I can call her tomorrow.
I'm sorry?
What part of the country are you in?
I'm in New Oxford, Pennsylvania.
What's her name? What's her name?
That's like right next to Hanover.
Okay. So, can you put your contact information in the chat? And then, this way we can reach back with you tomorrow and be able to get more precise information and try to, again, facilitate matching you up.
The Caucasian guy, that's a white guy.
Give a, you know, that can really go through in detail with the steps you want to take next.
Okay.
All right.
But that's been
Make sure you put that in the chat. And again, for all of you,
got it.
that are with us on the Zoom. Again, the toll-free number here is 877-626-4651. So if for some reason you can't put your number in the chat,
Katrina?
you should just again call back tomorrow and
that's
just
all right.
call that number and they will direct you to the right person so that we can continue to follow up.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna go to the next gentleman here. And here's what we're gonna do. Because, you know, we have all these great attorneys here. Hold on. But we want some of them to participate. So I'm gonna have Mr. Bellison is gonna come up and he's gonna take us through the next couple of speakers.
Yeah, see Bellison in action. Let's go, Bellison. For you.
The 26th of April.
Last legal night.
Yeah, and I was trying to get a legal aid boss, which I had, I spent $57.
What happened?
I'm off the bench. I told him dollars he's here. So, but you make us very in and when I had to use the bedroom. Sunday morning, 10 o'clock in the morning. Nobody knows.
Right.
And let us not take it. I post money for you. And I go.
What's the other mic? No, but it's moving. No, somebody. Somebody's not muted.
So I called the chief's department.
Somebody not muted. So it was on here. It wasn't there.
To the chief.
Was somebody there?
And they wanted to see a license. And met what belongs, you know, they don't have a license.
You said mine.
See. Perfect. Bennett, precinct. 28 precinct. And he saw my thing, good, okay, they gave me a why? To follow, but he stopped, everybody said,
Okay.
so he made it about that. I didn't have, and my identification on my papers, band, they told. Sure.
Are the police helping you get your things back?
No,
Or
yes,
is that?
to retrieve, and they want, I didn't have a medication last night. They want to call out the police, and was not paid off. I didn't have my, but I do have my debit cards, and show I have all my papers to indicate what I had, and very,
Sure. How can we help you, sir? Do you want us to help you? Let me ask you this. You want us to work with the police and help you get contact?
They did give me a number.
I'll follow up with you directly after we're done. Sure.
I did come up with.
Spoke to Mr. Smoke, they referred me to the lawyer who's not pulling me up. Malpractice, where's my mother? Didn't do it. I'll talk to you after this program. We'll see if we can help you get your stuff back. Good luck. Thank you. Evening. Yeah.
Never had no problem. The first 2 years ago.
Yeah.
First March, she got to be the person because the other people have retired.
Right.
And so, from then on, I've been missing clothes, my work before, my furniture is cut.
Are you telling me that they've been breaking into your home and? How do you know it's them? How do you know it's the last?
And this see that, and so I wasn't there today. Did you come here? Now she had put more clothes that she had taken from me back in me, but there's some she had never gave up. Not all my furniture, my dishes are gone, my bathroom, but I have. They took the things, the furniture that I had. 91st Street, 22nd, First Avenue, Third and Third Avenue.
Is that part of the 19th precinct?
Yes,
Okay.
and I have been to 5 places. They've been coming back.
Try the community affairs officer.
I did, they've been coming, they could get back, but he was there.
They can't do anything?
Yeah, they've been doing something, I can do this. This 2 years ago, they don't do nothing. They just, say, Chevy, come on, you can walk back to your apartment, but that's standing inside the door. I don't know how to talk.
You know, another idea too, check with your city councilman. City councilman.
He was there, but he retired. I don't know the office.
And well, there's someone, I mean, there's a new council member there, and it may be that they'll listen to you rather than the police.
All that, city council, all of that, nobody is doing nothing.
988.
This is the one.
988.
And nobody does nothing.
988.
So I can do this.
They can help.
Personally, they call 5 that's what I went on out of the office. I love her. They sent back to listen. They didn't do anything. They said, Jerry, come on. They walk me back in the apartment, and they don't do nothing for her.
Okay, thank you.
And then you got me.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I would follow up your elected representative. I would do that and just keep squeaking.
Call tomorrow, we'll help you. I'll go with you to the office. Go ahead.
Derek will follow up with you.
I'll go with you to the office.
Make sure we get this straightened out with each other.
I'm gonna walk with you to the office. Yes, Joshua.
Yeah, just like God bless.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Good evening. My name is Donnell Copeland. It'd be hard to start and finish, so I'm just gonna start with the latest incident. Let's work backwards. Tell us, if you could wave a magic wand and have the lawyers do whatever you want, what would that be? Erase every felony I ever took, every misdemeanor I ever took, especially being the fact that I was never guilty of none of them. How many convictions? I was convicted almost every one of them, and most times they knew they was wrong. I had an incident when I was working. I was working for RDS. I was a messenger, and I just came from picking up at Good Harvest, and I'm right at 34th and 7th. I pay with my makeup on. I go through. I wait at the door for everybody to walk out, and I pull my cart through. And as I'm about to go to the staircase, two plainclothes detectives walk over to me and tell me to get on the wall. I said, "What am I getting on the wall for? I just paid my fee and I got my bag." And I just got my bag. What are you telling me I gotta get on the wall for? And they said, "Because you didn't pay your fee." I said, "I didn't pay my fee. My medical card is right here. You could take my medical card and go check it." What was this? How long? Oh man, I'll be lying to you, give you the exact date, but this year, it was 2008. Okay, so but let me just, unfortunately, the law has time limits and it's called a statute of limitations. That makes it difficult. Anything the last 2-3 years that we could Yes, we can talk about the last incident that I did there. Let's do this. Let's talk offline when we finish and I'll come and talk to you and we'll see if I can help you out, sir. Okay? Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Sir, yes, sir. Good evening.
Hello, how you doing? Good evening. My name is Darren Moore. I'm born and raised in New York. Last week, I was arrested on 78 precinct in Brooklyn, New York. Basically, I was a victim of excessive force, in which the officers, when I was already detained, the officers put me in a chokehold, repeatedly choking me. I had another eyewitness that was reporting the whole incident.
Last week? This happened last week?
Yes, sir.
Did you get re-injured?
Yes, sir.
Tell us what happened. What were you injured?
My wrist was injured and my lower back, which I went to Harlem Hospital. They took the x-rays and my rods and everything, and they saw that I had some tendons in my wrist.
Right.
That was swollen, and I took various different medications. And I need a lawyer to help represent me on behalf of this case.
All right. I'm not sure every lawyer has different criteria for representation. You have 90 days to file a notice of claim, which you have to do against the city of New York. But I'll talk to you offline. We'll see if we can help guide you through the process. Sure. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Appreciate it. All right. Thank you. Jump in. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right, so we're gonna go back to those that are online. So the next person up online is Antoinette Miller. Is she still there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very well. Good evening.
Hi, how are you? The reason I'm calling in, I'm trying to see if I have like a negligence case against an establishment. I've been staying at a hotel for the past 3 months, every Wednesday and Thursday. And when I checked in on January the 19th of this year, I was put on the first floor in room 108, right by the back door. I didn't feel safe staying there, so I asked to be moved. I was moved to room 305. About 4:30 in the morning, there was someone banging on my door. I called down to the front desk and I said, are your cameras working? There's a man or somebody at my door. I don't know who's at my door, but who's at my door? And she says, oh, it must be the guy who was just down here. He's really weird. I'll call the cops. So she hung up the phone. So I went down later, because I had to go to school and to speak to her. And she gave me a story, but her story didn't sound right to me. So I went to the police station. I requested the police report and the body cam. So I find out that it's 2 different municipalities involved. The one municipality gave me the body cam and I heard and saw everything that was said, and it was nothing that I was told by the manager, because it was the manager who was working. So I went to the other municipality, I requested the body cam, and that was done on February the 6th. That was the last time I spoke with them, and they will not release it to me. All I was trying to do was see who was at my door. I don't know if I was a victim set up for a robbery, trafficking, I don't know what, but it's caused me so much distress and anxiety, and I'm just trying to see.
Bring a claim against the hotel that you're staying at, is that what?
Yes, it was a hotel that I was staying at, and I'm just trying to see if there's a negligence based on the hotel not protecting my safety.
All right. Well, based on what we heard, anybody want to chime in on that?
You're assuming there's negligence for the damage. Arm. What's the?
Ask the question.
Yes, so even assuming that they were negligent, where are you? Even assuming that. The issue.
Can you hear me?
What is the damage? What is the harm? Were you injured? Were you hurt? That's the first thing is.
Did you ask me, was I injured or hurt?
Yes.
Yes, emotionally and mentally, yes, I am hurt.
Go a little further. Help me understand.
a post-traumatic stress, I would call it. I'm a nervous wreck. I'm about to leave to quit school. I'm having a lot of difficulty because I don't know if I was involved in something, if I was going to be robbed, if I was going to be trafficked. I don't know, and no one is giving me any answers.
So we're trying to get the answer to you as best we can. What state are you in?
I'm in New Jersey. It happened in Bordentown, New Jersey.
All right, so let me, all right, so Ms. Miller, do we have your information? Can you put your information in the chat?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so do that, and tomorrow morning, we will have, someone on our staff, probably Patrice Perry will contact you, to get additional information, and then try to facilitate you with one of our colleagues in New Jersey, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Perfect.
Hey,
All right.
my hand is raised.
Now, all right, so next up is Fatima Greer, are you there?
My hand is raised. Hello.
Fatima?
You talking about my child in the back?
Hey, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right, good evening.
Hi, I have a 15-year-old son. He was shot in 2020. Thank God he survived. The perpetrator was arrested and released on bail. This was in 2020, and he was indicted as well. We just received a new assistant district attorney on the case. Yes?
What part of the country are you in?
Oh, I'm in New York City, sir.
Okay.
I'm in New York City. So 2020, my 15-year-old was shot. The perpetrator was arrested. He was indicted, and he was released on bail. And we just received a new assistant district attorney. And basically, he's treating my son, he isn't treating my son as a victim. He basically, I had a conversation with him, and he said that my son bullied his shooter. And my son was 15 at the time. This guy was in his late 20s. They had 2 prior altercations before that were verbal only.
Which borough?
This was in the Bronx, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, so now it's going on 3 years, and we have this new assistant district attorney. And after speaking with him last week, I don't feel confident in him representing my son. And I wanted to know, what should I do moving forward? How can I have my son better represented? He's a high school senior this year. These are all the awards he brought home. And I mean, this is just the last 30 days.
Well, when you
Okay.
say to, I mean, when you are referring to the district attorney,
Yes.
is the Bronx County prosecuting the case that happened?
Oh, it's the assistant district attorney. He's supposed to be representing my son.
Okay, well, again, here's what I'm asking. So your son, there is someone, so we can be clear, there is someone that is a defendant that has been arrested for having assaulted your son, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That person is currently being prosecuted.
Yes, he's out on bail. He's been out on bail since 2020.
Stay with me. And you're not happy with the assistant district attorney that is now assigned to the case your son is the victim of, correct?
No, yes, sir. That's correct.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Again, I don't want to say it's an easy one, but put your name in the chat.
Yes.
Right, and we will have, Derek, you have it? All right, so we'll follow up with you, and we will also be able to speak privately with you. And Kenneth, if you want to.
Yeah, just, you can give him my.
Use the mic.
Okay. So,
thank you.
Well, you can give her your number now, she can jot it down. You want
Good evening, sir. Thank you.
Give me a call after 2 o'clock tomorrow, 917.
917,
Hello.
917
yes,
972
972.
3015.
That's 3015.
Yes, 3015. So it's 917-972-3015. Give me a call after 2 o'clock.
And your name's Kenneth, sir?
Yes. Gilbert.
Thank you so much. Honestly, thank you.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
That was Attorney Kenneth Gilbert. All right. So next will be,
Thank you.
thank you, Peter Robinson, are you with us? Peter Robinson. Peter Robinson. Peter Robinson. All right. Okay, so we're gonna go back to our in-person, and Jeff Emden is gonna come and take the next couple of questions.
Everyone, sir, it's your pleasure.
Hello.
Raise it up a little.
Talk. You gotta talk. No, just ask the question.
Hello.
Mr. Ramon.
My name is Austin Ramon, and I've lived in my buildings in Brooklyn for 54 years. I'm a rent control student, and I'm getting harassed by building management, and fortunately, some of the tenants have joined into. In what way are they harassing you? Therefore, I have a tenant that lives over there.
Mute, I'm trying to unmute it.
Yes, ma'am. Who's friends with the manager?
Why do you have watch that?
Derek. Can you hear me, Derek? Oh, I ain't gonna give up. I ain't gonna give up.
Can you hear me?
Hello? Hello, can anybody hear me?
I can hear you.
this has been extensive surveillance, by, representation of the mind. Not having my best interests, I think I'm my best interests. And so, Ms. Bennett, people on the job, she knows.
All right. All right, so we're gonna have to cut it.
Right now, I got my son. And my son is on stage. Ready, set him up.
We have.
Windy of you, but absolutely higher corporation. I mean, let's keep minority activities.
Right, okay, we'll have somebody take a look at the pictures during the break.
Okay, good evening, my name is Angie Boston, and, I took care of a lady up in the Bronx at Co-op City, and when she died, she had put my name on an affidavit to be the next person to take over the co-op. And now I'm fighting with them, and they, every paper that they asked me to submit to them, I submitted everything to them. Now they're telling me that that I have not submitted what they requested, and that they denied me succession.
All right, so and you have that with you? All right, somebody will be able to take a look at that? Yep.
Okay.
All right, good evening.
Hi, I'm Friday, and I'm going to be back in November and then last month. And I wrote a British social only of the Supreme Court of the United States because there's racketeering that I'm dealing with in my state of Delaware. Reverend Al Sharpton and his group, some of the clergymen from my state, they were complaining about the same problem that I'm dealing with. The corruption in the courts in Delaware.
Right.
And they're taking property.
With the Chancery Court.
Well, no, that's the Chancery Court. That was another issue. Mine is with the JP Court, the Court of Common Pleas.
And you have the document with you?
Not good, so-
All right. We're going to talk to you as soon as we take this break. Right. Well, as you know, as you said, National Action Network and Reverend Sharpton has been tuned in to Delaware with regard to this issue. In fact, Reverend Sharpton was in Delaware just the other night addressing this issue too. So we'll go through it. We're going to take a break now so that we'll be able to sit with you. So let me say, first of all, give yourself a hand. You know, I am very sensitive to how things happen with legal things. So I do want to give, I don't want to say an apology, but for those of you that are watching us through Zoom, I totally understand that we had many issues tonight. We did not have this issue when we came back last month. So there's obviously some technical things that we need to work through so that we can communicate with you more smoothly, and we'll get that worked out. So we apologize for tonight, but we will make sure that we reach back to each of you that have your name in the Zoom, and we will definitely follow up with you. But we're going to have to close out. We'll address the people that remain here. We want to thank everybody. Again, give all of the attorneys a hand, please. Everybody again, Joe?
Exactly. Exactly.
March 30th?
That's what I was
All right.
calling.
The
You
last
take for the
Thursday
people that's
of
on.
March
Do you
30th.
have another?
And as many of you know, we'll
right.
see you.
Cool.
for Legal Night
Thank you,
again. That's
boys.
Last Thursday,
Boy
but
said he'd do it.
National Action Network,
He suggested.
House of Justice,
Good.
our 877 number, so we are always here for you.
Okay.
You don't have to wait until legal night,
Okay.
but we will see
Hello,
you back
everyone.
for legal night on March
Can you
30th.
hear me?
Meantime,
Give me
we'll
a thumbs
follow
up
up with
if
you
you can
tonight,
hear me.
we'll follow up with everyone on the
Okay.
Zoom, and we will continue next month.
We
So
have
God bless all of you
an
online.
That is gonna stay on the Zoom. So if you wanna get service on the Zoom, Attorney Royce Russell will be speaking to individuals on the Zoom. Stay Okay, can you guys hear me? All right. Okay, you can hear me now? Can you guys hear me? Yes. Okay, so we have Attorney Royce Russell here. Royce Russell is on the Zoom. He's been here all night. He is one of the founding lawyers of Legal Night. You're up. You're up.
Just wait.
So, can everybody hear me? Can everybody hear me? Put your thumbs up. Okay, so this is the way we're gonna do it. I'm gonna go across the board. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 names. I'm only taking those 7 names because those are the 7 names that have been up. All right, now I know you guys have heard many of a long story tonight. So you're gonna do everybody a favor. You're gonna make your story very short because what I'm concerned with is what the legal issue is. And then I could direct you to the right attorney and you can explain the facts from beginning to end. So I'm gonna start what looks on my board is Isaiah Hurd, H-U-R-D. That's who I'm starting with. I'm going from right to left. So Isaiah, would you unmute yourself so I can hear you? I hope you just muted yourself again back.
Okay.
All right, great.
Okay,
Talk to me.
my name is Christina Hurd. My grandson was murdered in September of 2022 by his babysitter. He was 2. His sister was involved. But she survived. They trying to railroad my daughter, and they're trying to take my granddaughter away from me. And I need some help because I don't know what to do. I can't get an attorney here. I've been searching, haven't been able to find anyone. They making her take drug tests. She was out of state when this happened. We have proof of everything. She's taking
I'm
the
sorry,
drug test.
I'm sorry. What I'm always going to do so everybody understands this, I am going to stop you because there's certain information that I need that's going to be able to help you. So for instance, what state did this happen in?
Mississippi.
Okay. All right. So now I can tell you right now, none of the attorneys that you saw live or me personally are licensed in Mississippi. However, we have a chapter in that general area, and I'll be able to redirect you to the chapter in that area to try to facilitate getting you a lawyer. All right. So now what I need for you to do is on the chat, right? You're able to directly chat with Mr. Perkison. So everybody don't have to see your business. Only thing you have to do is say,
Is it Derek Perkison?
that is correct.
Okay, I text him already.
Did you already put your information in the chat already?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I sent my information to every co-host.
Okay, so great. So now he's going to follow up in reference to that. Let me just understand something. You said your grandson was murdered. Did they capture the person? They have the person in custody?
They have her in custody. They have her on a capital murder charge. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So number 2, when you say they're railroading your daughter, is that they're trying to take the children away from her?
Yes, right now she's in my custody, but they're trying to take her from me, and I don't understand that.
Okay. So this is partly a family court issue and a criminal issue, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's important. So Derek knows who he's targeting, right? All right. So as long as he has your information, I'm sorry to be short. However, I got enough to do enough. You don't need to tell me anything more. I got enough to do enough, and we're going to follow it through from there. All right.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So let's go to the next person. I want to say is Eden. I may be pronouncing it incorrectly, but it's E-Y-D-E-N. I usually count up to like 5 Mississippi. If you don't respond, I got to go to Ronald, the next person. So Eden, that's 1 Mississippi. That's 2 Mississippi. That's 3 Mississippi. That's 4 Mississippi. That's 5. So now I'm going to go to Ronald. Ronald, you're the next one up. Unmute unmute. I can only go by the name that's on the camera. So if it's the wrong name, forgive me. So I need for you to unmute yourself and let's have this conversation. You're talking, but I can't hear you.
There we go. I'm
There we
unmuted
go.
now.
All right.
All right.
Is it Ronald the right name?
Ronald Dwight Eady.
All
Yeah.
right, got it. Got it. So
Ronald.
talk to me. What's going on?
Look, I'm in Tennessee. Let me get right to it. I'm in Tennessee. Okay. I'm having problems with the police department. Okay.
In
Now,
what way?
I need a warrior.
In what
I
way?
need a good warrior.
Hear me out, Ronald. We're going to do this question and answer. This is where I know
Okay.
where to go. In what way? Are they harassing you? Are they doing something to you or something else?
This little white police officer came out and shot my dog. Okay. I'm a truck driver and I was at work. Okay. So they called me and said, my dog got out of the house. I got 3 dogs. They were in my yard. Okay. The police chased them out of my yard and murdered my dog Tyson.
All right, now Ronald, let me ask you one question because I gotta give clarity to the people that we speak to in Tennessee if we're able to find.
What now?
I said I gotta give clarity to the people in Tennessee if we're able to find someone. So I want to know what type of dog, because that's the first thing they're gonna ask me is what type of dog.
It was a pit bull.
Okay, are all of them pit bulls?
Say what?
You said it was more than one dog. Am I correct?
Yeah. One. Okay, I got a white lab. I got a mixed pit bull, and the other dog was a pit bull.
Okay, and so police killed one of the pit bulls?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So I don't know if you heard me tell this to Christina, that none of the attorneys on the panel, except for myself, I practice in New Jersey, don't practice outside of the state of New York. So we have to find you someone in Mississippi, all right? So this is a police.
I'm not in Mississippi. I'm in Tennessee.
Excuse me, Tennessee. I'm sorry. I'm looking at my notes. Tennessee. So we have to locate if there's a chapter in your area. If not, then we have to use our other resources to find someone. What I want you to do is you'll see Derek Perkerson in the chat line, right? So if you go down the chat, you can put your information in there, but you have to make sure it goes to Perkerson. Don't put it down for everyone because everybody know where you're at and where you live and all that other good stuff. All right. And then we're going to follow up to try to see if we can get somebody in line with that. So then your obligation is to call back the National Action Network by Tuesday, right? Because Friday is Friday. Friday's Friday. You know how Fridays go. And everybody don't work on Saturday and Sunday. So you got to give some breathing room. So call by Tuesday. All right.
We need to stick together as Black people. Okay. We need.
You just muted yourself,
Hey, Royce.
Ronald.
No, I did that. Royce.
All right.
Let's go to the next
so
call.
let's go to Youssef.
Ronald, we'll take care of you.
Let's go to Youssef. Youssef, you got 5-1000 to unmute yourself. 1-1000. 2-1000.
Apologize, brother. The
There
brother
you
that
go. I knew you would catch up. I know you ain't skipping no grades, so I knew that was gonna happen sooner or
the
later.
host wouldn't allow me to unmute, so I was kind of stuck.
I got you.
I'm
So-
in New York. Yeah, I'm in
New
New
York.
York City, and
Okay.
under the invite of Mr. Gilbert, Kenneth Gilbert, we work
Okay.
professionally on another setting. But short and long story. HPD case where they refused to make the repairs in my apartment. The ceiling caved in and injured me. My son has been exhibiting some symptoms. I don't know if it's black mold or whatever, but I remedied the situation by finally going to HPD, and the judge kind of gave it to him and told him that they've been doing substandard work. I kept putting in the notices where they were coming behind them and they would lie and say that they certified the work. And the judge just ruled the last week and said, I don't even want the departments, they figure out where the source of the water is coming from and where the leak is coming. And but I did incur injury, was hospitalized, and that's the one workup. The other one is the other day it was an issue where a young man pulled out a knife and stabbed this lady's tires. And I inserted myself, and the young man hit me with the car. The police came, and they had showed me the license plates. They haven't gotten back to me. It was a hit and run. The young man stabbed this lady's car tires over a parking spot, and he hit me with the car. So that's what I call Mr. Gilbert for. But the larger case is the one that I don't have time to go into the detail, but it's in regards to the Frank James shooting on the subway. I'm a program director for a residential program, and there's been some retaliation because some of the things that young man did claim is true. And I have a whole host of issues that I just simply went to civil court to kind of make, called the Justice Department, called Oasis on some of the substandard care that they're providing for people with mental health. And I won 2 cases just recently about things, of separation of service with them, that they doctored books and did all types of stuff. But there's an active article by Connor Skelding in the New York Post about the monies they took over this last year that are astronomical right now. But
Right. So if I can understand, one, we have an attorney that's on the panel that does mostly personal injury. His name is Joe Smelkin. Smelkin. Now, if you ask me to spell it, we're going to have problems, all right? So you're going to have to phonetically think about it. Smelkin, all right? So you're going to contact Perkison Derek, and he'll give you Smelkin's number, all right? So he's for the PI, all right? Okay. For the hit and run, there's not really anything that we could do at this point. We just got to follow up to see if the police handle their business and find the person and do all that. If you find that you're not being satisfied or serviced, then you call back the National Action Network. They have an advocacy group. They'll kind of figure out what's going on in the precinct. The last one, you can call me because I'm interested to figure out what exactly is the bottom line. But I know time is frail right now, so I'm gonna give you my number: 718 785 8890.
Okay.
Tomorrow's totally booked, so let's look at Monday or Tuesday to have that conversation. All right.
Perfect. I'll give you a call on
All
Monday.
Right, great. All right. So Yusuf, I'm gonna switch over to you, and I'm gonna go to someone else. All right. We good?
Thank you. Yes, sir.
All right. No problem. So I think is Aaliyah. Aaliyah is up next. Aaliyah, my rule is 5 seconds to get that mute off, or else I go to someone else. 1,000, 2 1,000. She's under pressure. 3 1,000, 4 1,000. She can't find that mute button. 5 1,000. I'm gonna give you the 10. 6 1,000. You gotta find that mute button. All right, let me see if Derek might be. Derek.
Sorry.
You have to
I'm
unmute
sorry.
Aaliyah. Aaliyah.
I'm sorry.
She needs to be unmuted. She's frantically panicking. She had 5 seconds went overboard. She needs that unmute. I hear you saying something, but I don't hear you. Hit the mute again. Let's see what happens.
That's my cousin Aaliyah. There she go.
There we go. My name is Kira. Thank you. This is I'm under my daughter's name.
All right.
Hello. Okay, so this is my issue. I have a brother who was locked up in Florida. We're from New York. He was in Florida. They gave my brother a life plus 44 sentence at the age of 25, 26. He was railroaded. Long story short, I've heard about Florida's, how their system goes, but they've already taken off that 44. And I say that to say is because they know he was railroaded. He was with other people, to the other 2 young men. Of course, they were another color, so they didn't get that same amount of time. And my brother's been fighting for his life for over 23, 4 years now. My mother died trying to help her son, and I could use some assistance.
Well, what are you saying? You gave me a story. I heard the story, but you haven't told me what you need assistance in.
Everything, because I don't know where to start.
No, that's not going to be an answer. An answer is going to be, is he filing appeals? What is he doing? Because we're talking to people out in Florida, and I can't tell somebody that you need assistance in everything. That's not going to work. So tell me what he's trying to do.
Well, at 23 years, there's been more than one appeal. Okay. And
is this state or federal?
State.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is, Derek, you're going to mark this down as a compassionate release. That's basically what she's seeking. She's seeking compassionate release. If he has appeals and his appeals been exhausted, what she's looking for is to have the court reduce his time even further. All right. That's what we're going to title it, Kara. We're going to title it that. So when we speak to somebody in Florida, they can have a sense of what we're talking about, because telling them everything is not going to work. Also, it's a state criminal case. All right. So Kara, you're
Compassionate release. I got it.
all right. So Kara, you're going to speak with Derek on the side, chat or what have you. Give him your information. Make sure it's only going to Derek only in the chat. And then he'll follow up with the chapter there. Now, I want to tell everybody, when I started out, it was 7 names. We got some names that we got some hands that kind of slid in the left and the right. All right. We're going to slow down on that. I'm going to tell you that right now. All right. So the last person I'm going to take is a Smith. That's it. That's the last person I'm taking. All right. Other than that, you have to meet us on the last Thursday of March. All right. So now let's go with Unique. Unique. Can you unmute Unique?
Thank you, Kara.
Thank you, Kara. Appreciate it. Unique, you got to unmute. Derek is trying to unmute you. You got to press your button too. Not your camera. That's all right. You don't see it? You can't unmute? You did, but it's not saying anything. I can try to keep this up for a little bit, but I can't read that much. Okay, Derek, you're gonna try? You can see it? Maybe not?
I got it.
There we
hear me?
go. Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah, a button had to pop up that had the 2 options, but I'm gonna talk really fast. My situation is I didn't know, I'm trying to understand the legal system pertaining to me advocating for a child who's no longer here. Her anniversary is coming up March 9th, but when her life was ended, the hospital told lies about me. A CPS case was opened up about me. And when I got her records, I tried to communicate with the hospital what was going on. Yeah, I did harass them and calling too many times, and I'm just understanding that.
Unique, hold on one second. What state are we talking about?
North Carolina, I'm sorry.
Okay, North Carolina.
Raleigh, North Carolina. And I spoke to, I communicated with attorney
Smelkin. Right.
Yes, I'm sorry. And he referred me to an attorney down here, which is Painter, right? So he should be familiar with me, who he spoke to. But moving forward, what happened? I got arrested last year for supposedly communicating threats and harassing phone calls and stalking. I know I did harass with the phone calls, and that's what I thought they could have got me on. So I had to pay a bond. I paid over $2,000 for a lawyer, and I didn't think he was representing me and me feeling comfortable, but I still went forth with it. I'm confused behind everything because I did not take a plea. Okay, I opt to go to trial. So now I'm learning all this stuff that I'm getting myself in, which I got indicted. The case ended in district court on the 24th of January, but unbeknown to me, because my lawyer didn't communicate anything with me after that case, that was it for me and him. He didn't even give me any information after. But
so let me ask you this question. One, are you still facing criminal charges?
Yes, I had to turn myself in today.
Wait, stop. So you need an attorney to help you with that, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And I had to turn myself in today to get served the warrants and the indictment.
All right. Is this a state? Hold on. Is this state or federal?
It's in Superior Court.
All right. So it's state. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to find you someone in North Carolina. All right. What I would suggest, just as a starter, as Mr. Smelkin gave you someone that's in North Carolina, maybe that attorney in North Carolina knows someone that does criminal work. Maybe that attorney does.
I think that firm does too, because when I first approached him, I was approaching him about a civil matter in defamation of my character and pertaining to that. Right. But I was always directed to criminal lawyers, and I was frustrated. But how I found out that I had these warrants and indictment on me was I went into the detention center here in Raleigh to press charges on the 2 individuals who are state employees, a CPS worker and a social worker. And the magistrate kind of told me, he didn't tell me, oh, you got warrants, but he's like, when you're on your way out the door, give your paperwork to the deputy and check to see if you have warrants. And that's what I did. And he was like, oh, I'm having to detain you now, but they let me go. So I went back in today. This was yesterday, and I went back in today and turned
All right, well,
myself in.
stop right there, stop right there. We got enough. We're gonna do our best to try to facilitate you, all right? Just make sure you keep up with your court dates. So no
Yeah, I'm
warrants
going to
are
court
issued.
Monday.
That's right, no warrants are issued. And just let the judge know. The judge asks you any questions in reference about representation, let them know that you're looking to retain an attorney. You always
Okay.
want to let the court know that you're actively looking to have someone represent yourself, okay? I have
Okay.
to go to the next person, all right? Have a
All right,
pleasure.
thank you so much.
All right. So I
Frida.
think Frida Adams is up. 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4
Rita
1,000,
said she was leaving.
5
Told her
1,000.
don't leave. Okay, she
All
blew.
right. All right, we have my man or person.
Sean X.
Sean X, is that it?
Sean X, are you there?
Sean, 1
There you
1,000.
go.
All right, Sean, talk to me.
Oh, I have two problems. One, but the main one is I need a probated lawyer because my father passed away.
What state?
And my brother in
What
New York.
state?
New York,
What
Long
state?
Island.
New York, Long
New York.
Island? Okay,
Yes.
give me a call. Give me a call tomorrow morning. I'll give you my number and I can refer you to someone, all right? Let me give it
All
to
right,
you.
and the last, yeah, go ahead.
You better get this number down before you go to the
Okay,
last.
go ahead.
You're gonna have both things. So 718
718
785
785
8890.
8890.
Call me after 11
All right.
o'clock, all right? And I'll be able to
After
give you.
11.
What was the last thing?
I was in trouble a while ago, and I got off of probation for the same charge that I got arrested for, and I got in a car accident, and they arrested me, and they said I was a fugitive. When I was on probation, I got off of this and everything. This is like 4 or 5 years ago, and I want to know why they even put me on the fugitive when I paid my dues. I got off.
I couldn't
early.
I couldn't answer that question for you because I don't work for the police nor the probation department. So I couldn't even give you the answer to that question. The only thing I could do is tell you that somebody didn't do their job. And so you found yourself in the situation that you're in, but I can't help you with the probate. All right, Sean? So call me after 11 o'clock tomorrow and we'll take care of that. All right?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, not a problem. Now, I think we did Eden before. She just got her hand raised. She just
No,
never.
you said Smith.
Yes.
Said Smith was the last one. Mary put her hand up, but just
All
for
right.
those that don't know, Royce Russell is the author of a book also, a cardiac arrest, how to guide a perfect traffic stop. You guys should get the book. It's very informative. Give it to your kids, your nephews, your nieces. Your people need to know what to do when stopped by police.
So
Thank you, Royce.
I think we're up to Charles Jameson because we did Eden before.
Well, we did miss Aiden Ishala.
Is she there?
Eden, they had text in a group chat.
I don't see.
Aiden, are you there? We skipped you one time. We're gonna skip you again. I asked to unmute you. Oh, there she go.
Where is she?
I'm sorry, I was locked out and I couldn't unmute myself and I keep sending messages over
No
and
worries.
over.
You're on now. Let's get your case.
Thank you.
What
Okay,
state are you in?
I am calling from New York State and I have two quick questions.
Okay.
The first one is I have a relative of mine who filed an application for permanent residence in the US but was denied. He's now trying to travel to a country that does not require a visa, but was told that he's blocked from leaving the country. How can we confirm if this is true? Because it makes no sense. If he can travel to a country that doesn't require a visa, why is he blocked?
Well, is he in the United States and he's traveling out of the United States or he's in another country?
No, he's in Guyana and he applied for a permanent resident to the US.
Well, if he's in Guyana, there's no way I can give you the answer to that question because I don't know what the Guyana or Canadian or Guyanese government is using as a basis of stopping him. Now, if he was in the US, I can give you some information on that. But if he's in Guyana and they're stopping him from traveling, then what they're probably thinking is that because he got denied permanent residence, he's going to travel and make his way into whatever country that he was denied permanent residency for. And so that's why they're probably preventing him. But I can't give you any rule or regulation as to that because I'm not totally familiar with the laws in that country. Although I did work for immigration here in the United States, but I don't know the laws in that country. That was
Thank you.
question number one. You said you had another question. What was question number two?
Question number 2 is, how do I submit a complaint against a police officer? This is for Queens County, and this incident stemmed from December 2021 regarding a domestic violence. My brother
Okay.
was arrested.
No, I don't want to go into facts. I don't want to go into facts because once you told me what the subject matter is, then I can direct you as to what you want to do. So you want to call the Civil Complaint Review Board. You got a pen?
Yes.
Civil Complaint Review Board. I believe the emergency number is 311, but if you go on a computer and you look up CCRB, they'll give you the number. And then from there, you can tell them what happened, how it happened, and they'll be able to assist you in filing a complaint against that police officer.
I already submitted a complaint with the civil CCRB, and they refer my complaint to the local precinct, but I am
No.
afraid.
Let me tell you something. You did not submit a complaint with the Civil Complaint Review Board and they refer it to the local police department. That's not their protocol. They do their own investigation and then they come up with their own decision as to whether or not they're going to prosecute. You did not go to the Civil Complaint Review Board. I can tell you that now.
Yeah, I submitted online and they said that's out of their jurisdiction, and they sent me to the Internal Bureau.
So what I want you to do is that I'm going to give you my telephone number. I want you to send me that paperwork. I want you to send me that paperwork where they said that it's out of their jurisdiction, because that's what the CCRB is meant to do. They handle all the boroughs in New York City. And so what you're telling me is that they said that they're not going to handle that. So
It's
I'm
an
going to give you.
email. I can forward you the email.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to give it to you right now. I'm going to give you my email address. I want you to put your contact information in there, and then we'll go through what they said and what happened. All right. So you ready? You got a pen and paper?
Yes.
My email address is the letter R, the word square, SQUARE, and then put ESQ at gmail. So it's r2esq@gmail.com. All right.
ESQ@gmail.com.
All right. So I look forward to the information. All right. Make sure you put your telephone information in there so I can call you back once I get finished reading.
I will. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. I think we're up to Jameson, right? Derek, where are you? We want to make sure Charles Jameson is unmuted. Okay, guys, we got to wait for Derek to get back in order to complete this. Jameson, you could try to unmute yourself. If it doesn't work, just let me know. Say it doesn't work. It doesn't work? Okay. All right, so we got to hold on and wait for him. Derek?
Book on how to do when
Derek,
police pull you over and you stop.
Derek, we need to get Mr. Jameson open. Open up his mic.
Mr. Jameson, unmute, please. I request to unmute you. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Talk to
a truck driver out of Bakersfield, California. And I took my truck to get it because some of the options on the steering wheel wasn't working. So once we picked the truck up, I was driving it and the steering wheel fell off. I wasn't hurt in the accident, but you know, I need to get some representation because I got some post-traumatic things going on and stuff like that.
All right. So now I'm going to tell you two things. One, you can have what they call liability, which you have someone did something, right? But liability and injury equals a lawsuit. If you only got liability, you don't have any injury, then you don't have a lawsuit. Now, if you're talking about that you had post-traumatic distress, I, as a lawyer who, let's say I represent the company that fixed your steering wheel or made the mistake, the first thing I want to see when did you first go to the hospital? And if you haven't gone to the hospital, any therapy whatsoever, and you start to seek it now, that's going to be the first hole in the case. The second hole in the case is that if you have any other prior psychological issues, then we're not really talking about that situation causing it, but rather that situation exacerbating it. So before you start to think about any lawsuit, you got to look at when the accident happened and when's the first time you saw therapy. And if you didn't seek therapy, then I'm going to tell you, having lived in Los Angeles for a period of time, Orange County and Riverside, you are kidding yourself. All right. So we can pass you on to someone, but I want you to do that self-evaluation before we make that call. Derek, you'll take down Charles' information, and then we'll try to hook him up. You can have a personal conversation as to whether or not we're going to follow through that way. All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Attorney Boyce. Charles, you know how to direct chat? Send me your information in the chat.
Okay.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Charles.
All right. I'm going to leave it at that.
thank you.
All right. Because we're getting
Thank
late
you.
tonight. I got 2 more to go. I got Miss Westcott and Miss Smith. And Miss Smith looked like she about to take her head off the show.
If you can take Terrell Peavy, he was here first. But
Who?
if you can't, I'll take care of him. Terrell P.A.
All right. Let me get to Miss Westcott, and then let me get to Miss Smith, and then we'll go from there. Miss Westcott, you got 5 seconds. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5. All right, we tried. You got Derek's number, you got Nam's number. We can go from there. Miss Smith, unmute Miss Smith. Let's see if she can. 1,
Yeah, she's very
1,000.
impatient.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I'm
Miss Smith.
sorry.
That's all right.
Okay, hold on. Tanika Westcott is on.
Yes,
Well,
I couldn't. Hi, hello. I couldn't unmute. I'm
Hold on.
sorry, but my
Okay.
name is Tanika. I'm from Delaware. I have a
Alright.
friend that is incarcerated for a crime that he didn't commit. He got 91 years behind it, and the person that did the crime gets out this year. And we're
Let me
trying to
ask you
find
this. Let me
somebody.
ask you this. Let me ask you a couple of questions. One, did he go to trial? Did he plead guilty?
He went to trial. He didn't plead guilty.
All right. Has he filed appeals?
Yes, they denied everyone
Okay. And so he's looking for an attorney to do what?
to represent him and try to get him out because the judge that sentenced him, his daughter was murdered. Well, she had had an OD.
Well, let me ask you
and
this. The
everything.
judge, let me ask you this. The judge that sentenced him, was that the same judge that tried the case?
Yes, it was the same judge that tried the case and everything. And his cases has been reopened. A lot of his cases have been reopened because of sentencing people because of his daughter's death by a Black man.
Okay. All right. Well,
And
Derek, hold on 1 second. Derek, we want to check to see if we have someone in the Philly area. I do have
in Delaware.
Well, Delaware, right? Delaware. I have someone that's more in Philadelphia than Delaware.
Okay.
You're gonna have to reach back out to NAM to see if we have someone in that area. All right, because all the
Okay.
attorneys here are from New York. I practice in New York and New Jersey. Obviously, New Jersey is not Delaware, so that's where we stand. Okay.
Okay, thank
So
you.
Derek, we want to label this as a criminal appeal, so people know what we're talking about, the subject matters. They don't have to search. All right. All right. Beautiful. All right. Thank you, Miss Westcott. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. So Miss Smith, let's get her up and running.
Okay, you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I have a brother that's incarcerated.
Right.
He was sentenced to 73 years. They charged him with bank robbery and firearm. Well,
State or federal?
the feds picked the case up and dropped it. The feds had him. They dropped it. The state picked it up. The feds dropped the case because there was no evidence. So, of course, to be honest with you, I was there. He was not there at all. But his they charged him with bank robbery and firearm, like I told you. In the trial, when they convicted him, They had no evidence. And the part that the family is trying to figure out is how were they able to convict them with no evidence? No gun, no mask, no money, no DNA, nothing. So hold on. So this is the thing. So it took us 12 years just to get the video of the bank robbery. So during that trial, they show a small portion of the clip, which only lasts a second. So, we had to send that video off, which cost us $4,000. The forensic report, to get the forensic report, it came back as 100% tampered with.
Okay, so what state did this happen in?
Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Okay, so I know you heard me tell this story before, that the jurisdiction that most of these attorneys are working from, I'm in New Jersey and in New York. Most of them are just New York. So we're gonna have to find someone in that Virginia area.
I did, not to cut you off, I'm sorry. Now we did do the Innocent Project, and they just contacted him as of last week, and they denied him.
And what was the basis for their denial?
Because it's a bunch of students anyway.
Excuse me?
Nothing. It's a bunch of students anyway.
No, but what was their basis for the denial?
I don't know. I don't know the real. He told me
That's
today
important.
when he called me.
Miss Smith, that's important because what attorney is going to say, because you have to understand these appeals take up your whole practice. That's why certain attorneys only practice in appeals. You can't have an attorney like myself who's litigating and trying cases also do an appeal. It takes up too much time. So when you finally get the appellate attorney, that attorney is going to want to know what has been done. And they may refer you to the Innocent Project. And so once they find out that was denied, they're going to want to know why. Because let's say in their brain, if it's not.
I will tell you this. I asked him why. He said, I don't really even understand why, Carly. They never even put it like this. They never even, the documents that we have, they never even read nothing. And that was done, that was done 14 years ago. They just now contacted him last week.
Well, I mean, I don't defend them and I don't work for them, but I know that they get a lot of requests. If you talk about, they focus on the whole United States. That's 51 states, right? And you can imagine how many people, right? Most of the time they take cases that deal with DNA. That's what they're best at, right? They're not really great at witness type cases because witnesses are witnesses, right? And so what we can do once again is Derek will take down the information and try to find someone. We're looking at appeals, criminal appeals, Derek. And that's the best that we can do at this point. I'm just being, at this point, that's the best we can do. All right. So be in contact with Mr. Perkerson, give him all the information you can. We're active in Washington, Maryland, and Virginia. So I'm sure there's somewhere in there that we can get some information. I just can't guarantee you that it's going to be.
Carlita, what the word did he use? The legal term he used.
All right.
You remember what he just said? He just used the legal term. This is the word we have to use. One more time, Russell.
He said a whole lot.
Criminal appeals.
Criminal appeal.
Okay.
Appellants, court.
Okay. All right. So we have one.
Habeas person. I know about all of that.
There's one person that you asked me to take, Derek. The last person.
Yes, that's Terrell PA.
All right. I'm listening.
And Mary and Terrell's Galaxy 9, you would have to call me tomorrow, and I will take your case from there. Carlita, call me tomorrow, please.
Okay, what's your number?
I'll put it in the chat, 646-659-9850. I will put it in the chat, 646-659-9850. Royce has to
go ahead and text me, Mr.
So we
Derek.
have to let our attorney go. He took a lot of calls tonight. Thank you, Royce.
So let's
one
do
of our top
Terrell,
attorneys.
Terrell,
please. Let me ask to unmute him or her. Please, Terrell, be there. P. Okay, Terrell. We gave him a shot. Terrell Galaxy, are you also with Terrell? I think they're together. She's trying to, I requested to unmute. There you go.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Echo.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
gonna
you have
echo
an
if you
You have
cut
two
one off.
phones
You have
on
to
at
mute
the
one
same
of them.
time. There you
Can
go.
you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Hi.
Hi.
So, I'm in New Oxford, Pennsylvania. I am in a county where I am 74% European and 2.5% African American. I am, I work for both. I don't know if you heard my story when I was
Yes,
presenting it
Terrell,
earlier.
I heard your story. And
Yes.
since you're already on the chain for referrals, it's
Yes.
not going to get any better than that. I did hear your story. You were at the store. They forcibly arrested you. They grabbed you. They handcuffed you. They asked you for the badge. I was totally in tune on what happened. So we have you in the loop. Derek has you in the loop for someone in that area, and we're going to follow up with that. Derek, and I'm sorry, Terrell, since we already got you, I'm going to ask Derek, we take this one last call, which is Mary, because that's the
Let's
last.
do Mary.
Do I
Mary,
need
I'm
any
asking.
numbers that I need to contact? I'm just saying, do I need
Yeah,
any?
I'll put my
numbers?
numbers in the chat and my
Derek
email.
is going to put
Come
his
to
number
me.
in the chat.
Where do I go back?
Mary?
Hello?
Mary.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for taking my call. I have I have two kids with autism. One has aged out from the New York City Board of Education, and it's been over a year. I can't even get a service for him. He's nonverbal. So I wanted to open a home health care agency, and I was told that I need a certificate of need. They have sent me the application, so I don't know. I was told that I need an attorney. So how
right,
can I
so-
open a home health agency?
I don't know anything about that. You said a health agency or a school? Which one you trying to do? A health agency?
Home health agency to help me recruit therapists that will help my children and other parents who are not
Okay,
getting
so-
services for their children.
So
Certificate
I don't
of
know
need.
anyone, Mary. I don't know anyone that practices in that area. What I want you to do is give Derek your telephone number. Derek, I want you to call me on Tuesday. There's someone that I know that practices similar to that. I can call them, see if they have a contact, see what they could come up with, and then we'll get the information back to you. But there's no one that I know, like, if you ask me to give a name that does that type of work, okay? So you're gonna have to call Derek on Tuesday. Derek will speak with me between Friday and Monday, and I'll try to facilitate someone that that can help you. All right?
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you
yes,
so
yes.
much.
Well, thank you, everyone.
right.
Royce, thank you so much for taking these calls. And we're
Not a
sorry
problem.
about the technical issues. Hopefully next month we'll have it worked out so you guys can hear the auditorium and we can hear you clearly. For those who didn't get service tonight, please call me tomorrow. I promise to get to you. Reverend Sharpton, make sure we get to everyone who comes through the doors of National Action Network. We're not always can help everyone, but we do our best to try. So
Well,
thank
we
you
got
all.
you.
Have a good night.
Derek, we got all the hands that was raised, so
We got them all. We got them
Right.
all.
All right,
We got 'em
man.
all.
I'm
I
gonna watch
appreciate
the
you,
Lakers.
Russell.
I'm gonna watch
That's
the
Royce
Lakers.
Russell. Get that man book. Go get that man book.
We're gonna watch these Lakers beat these Warriors, so we're gonna call it a night. All right. All right. Talk to you later. All right. Be
Later,
well.
Royce.
All right.
Good night,
take care.
everyone. Ashley, Dominique,
Peace and love.
Patrice, Katrina, Debbie, Mo, David, Arthur, and yours truly. It was good to see all you here. Thank you, Carlita. Miss Smith. Miss Smith, give me a call tomorrow, please. Please. And who else is supposed to call me tomorrow? Aaliyah, that's my cousin, Bahija. Compassionate release, that's the angle he gave us. So we're gonna work that angle. You hear me? Leota Henry, I see you waving your hand. Did you get service tonight? Did you get to speak to an attorney? Do you need an attorney, Miss Henry? All right, listen, y'all see the time, right? I've been here since 9 this morning. We announced a big voting rights bill. Who you talking to, Terrell? Galaxy 9. I can't hear you. My number is 646. Yeah, everybody want to write this down. My phone going to blow up tomorrow. But I answer all calls or I return them. 646-659-9850. So now all those who are going to be calling me tomorrow, y'all just took away my safety net, which was legal night. Because I like to have an attorney speak to you about your issue to see what legal pathway we have forward. So now you guys are stuck with me. I am not a lawyer, but I am pretty smart on how to work things. So we're going to work through these cases one by one this week. I promise you that. I'm gonna take care of everyone who calls me this week. And we're gonna work it like that, okay? I really thank everyone for coming tonight. I really thank everyone for coming tonight. You guys are really, we need more members though. You guys listen here. We need more members. It's a lot of those states that you guys are calling from that does not have a NAN chapter. To start a chapter, you need 15 to 20 people, that's it. 15 to 20 people that said, we not standing for no bull crap here. And this is how you start a chapter in your town. Within the chapters, you have committees, education committee, health committee, political action committee, criminal justice committee. These are the committees and how we run the organization, guys. Reverend Sharpton listens to the committees when he wants to do these things. He wants to see what the committees think, because we assume you guys are doing your homework and your research in the committees. You're doing your research, and everything is around policy and laws. We are trying to pass laws that's going to be long-standing. We want to pass federal law, but if we only could pass state law, city law, so be it. But we got to pass this federal law. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. I see you guys, man. Thank you guys. Look at these guys, man. We couldn't do none of this stuff without these guys. I love these guys. That's Joe. That's the attorneys leaving. They want to say thank y'all to everybody. Thank you, guys. And I'm about to leave too, but I'm just want to tell y'all, in these states where we have no chapter, we need to start a chapter. We don't know the people on the ground in Arizona or Washington or all of these places. I'm a New York boy. I've been a couple of places. We need people on the ground that know the area, that know the people. We're going to connect you with elected officials. We're going to connect you with the people that make these decisions. All you got to do is act a certain way, be on your best behavior, and don't abuse the power of the National Action Network. Go ahead, Terrell, take it off mute. I can't hear you.
Just tell me what to do. Just tell me
We'll
what
talk
to
about
do and
that.
how
Now,
to do it.
listen, tomorrow I have a standing crisis meeting. My crisis team, we meet every Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. You don't have to stay the whole hour and a half, but it's by Zoom. So it's a nationwide call. You guys are more than welcome to come, listen and how we service the crisis. And if you guys want to pitch in and volunteer and be a crisis steering committee, let me know. You would have to be a member of NAN. That's the only.
Okay, so how do I become a member? Is
That's
what I'm
easy.
trying
Go to the
tell you.
website. You go to the website, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. It says join a chapter, become a member, do that. We need members. We need people on the floor. We need some soldiers. Reverend Sharpton is at the epitome, the apex of his powers. Reverend Sharpton been doing this since 4 years old. 4 years old. What 4-year-old boy takes his older sister's baby dolls to the basement, line them up, and start preaching to the baby dolls? Who does that at 4 years old? Anybody could tell me?
So
thank you, Ronald. Thank you, Ronald. Because nobody's doing that. So we have to support Reverend Sharpton. He's at the apex of his power. We have the NAN convention. I don't know how many people signed to come. The NAN convention is April 12th to the 15th, 4 power-packed days. Gonna have the whole Biden administration, a whole bunch of other people in the building.
And that's at $25 a year, right?
Hold on, the convention is free. The membership is $25 a year. That's $2 a month. That's 50 cents a week. Who ain't got 50 cents a week here?
I mean, I'm
Y'all could
joining.
get bottles. Y'all could get bottles, 5-cent bottles to get that 50 cents a week if you needed to. Right, Bahija? Don't be smiling like that. That's my cousin Bahija. She grew up with me. She know me. Listen, we need members. We need chapters. We need you to join a chapter in your area and join a committee and get to work. We can't do this work by yourself. Y'all hear all the stuff that's happening. Y'all on this call a lot. Things that happen to you, trust me, it's happening to 100 other people. Worse. So we got to help where we can. You know, some people can't be helped. Some situations are out of our control. We are not law enforcement. However, we got a lot of influence and we're going to use it to the best of our ability. So I thank you all again. I may take off tomorrow. I've been here since 9 this morning. I'm tired. But I love doing what I do, y'all. Y'all understand? I love helping y'all. I love helping y'all.
Okay. All right. I'm in. So, So how do I get in on your Zoom tomorrow?
Excuse me?
How do I get in
You,
on
you
your
have my
Zoom?
number. You're gonna text me, your
Okay.
email, your first and last name and your email. If you want to join the meeting, you guys are gonna be guests. I expect you to listen more than you talk. And then we're gonna know the 4 steps of the crisis. How many people know the 4 steps crisis? Okay, we're gonna go over the 4 steps really quick. The first step, when you call the National Action Network, after speaking to a crisis volunteer to ascertain the information you were giving, because remember, we only hear one side of the story when you call. We don't know both sides and we don't know the truth. We just hear one side, your side. And everybody who tells their side of the story is the right side, right? So we hear the story, fine. We connect you with a conversation, not a consultation. It's a big difference. You have a conversation with an attorney. Why? Because I need to know if you have a legal path forward or you don't have a legal path forward. Based on that information, I can do what I need to do. I am not a lawyer. But if I know you need a legal path forward, I know what to do. If you don't have a legal path forward, I know what to do. The second step of the crisis is we like to connect you to the local NAN chapter. So if we don't have a chapter in your state, this is why it lags a little bit. So first step, conversation with an attorney. Second step, connect with the local NAN chapter. Third step, we connect you with the local elected officials. Why do we do this? If I asked everybody on this call right now, if you know your local city council person, your local, your assembly member or your state senator, would you know? Do everybody know there are 3 levels of government in their district where they live? And this is a problem. This is the civic engagement of the National Action Network Crisis Department, because we're going to get you to do the work. Okay, guys, thanks a lot, man. I look forward to working with you.
That's some good shit. Okay.